Hello everyone, welcome to Vardhaman College of Engineering. I am Dr. A. Kishore Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry. In Engineering Chemistry course, we have water treatment. So in this module, today we are going to discuss treatment of boiler feed water. Here, in treatment of boiler feed water, two methods are there. One is a internal treatment method, another one is a external treatment method. In internal treatment method, after supplying water, after giving water into the boiler, we add few chemicals to soften the supplied water or given water. In external treatment method, by adopting some techniques, by adapting or by using some equipment, we soften the water. That softened water, then we supply to the boiler. So that is called as a external treatment method. So in internal treatment method, there are many methods are there. So particularly today I am going to discuss three methods. Number one is a Kalgan condition method. So here Kalgan means calcium gone. That means in this method particularly we are going to remove calcium salts. So here Kalgan means calcium plus two salts. That means calcium chloride, calcium sulfate, calcium nitrate, even calcium bicarbonate. So those salts, calcium plus two related salts, are removed by this Kalgan condition method. So what is Kalgan here? So Kalgan formula. So Kalgan is called as a sodium hexametaphosphate. So its formula Na6O18P6. So actually it is a complex compound. It is a complex compound. It is used to remove particularly calcium based salts, calcium plus 2 salt. It is available, it is a solid. Actually it is available in the form of powder, in the form of tablets. We use this Kalgan in drum cleaners of our washing machines. So Kalgan structure you can observe there. So this is a Kalgan structure, and this is a powdered form of Kalgan. Let's see the reactions. What happens when we add Kalgan to the water? So after adding Kalgan to the boiler feed water, it immediately undergoing ionization. So here we can observe ionized form. So here we are getting Na plus and Na4 PO3 taken 6 minus 2. It is a complex. Actually it is a complex, right? So this is called as a active complex anion. So in this Kalgan, so this is a very important one. So this is a active complex anion. So this active complex anion further reacts with the calcium plus 2 ions, calcium plus 2 ions, right? So calcium plus 2 ions, so those are there in calcium sulfate or calcium nitrate or calcium bicarbonate, right? So that is going to form a calcium phosphate. So complex calcium phosphate, which is a soluble complex. So in this way, hardness causing calcium sulfate salt is converted into soluble complex, which can be easily removed by simple blowdown operation, right? So next method is a phosphate conditioning method. So here we are going to add a sodium phosphate to the boiler feed water. Again here first we need to supply water into the boiler, then we need to add sodium phosphate. That sodium phosphate reacts with the both the salts, magnesium plus 2 based salt and calcium plus 2 based salt. That means here calcium plus 2 based salts means calcium sulfate, calcium nitrate, right, and other salts, right, and next magnesium sulfate, magnesium nitrate, and even magnesium bicarbonate, right? So this phosphate is going to react with calcium plus 2 and magnesium plus 2 salts, and those are converted to soft sludges. Those are converted to soft sludges. That means when scale forming salt is converted to soft sludge, as we know, as we discussed in our previous classes, soft sludge can be removed by simple blow down operation. Simple blow down operation, right? So here phosphate, in phosphate conditioning method we are going to add sodium phosphate, but these sodium phosphates are three types. So three types of sodium phosphates are available. We need to select any one phosphate based on the pH, that means based on the alkalinity of the boiler feed water. So here So here you can observe calcium sulfate. Again, in this calcium plus 2 ion will there. Here magnesium chloride. Here magnesium plus 2 ion will there. These calcium plus 2 and magnesium plus 2 ions are reacting with the sodium phosphate. Sodium phosphate after ionizing, it will produce PO4 minus 3. Right. So here also same PO4 minus 3. Right. So those are converted to calcium phosphate and magnesium phosphate. These two are the loose sludges. That means these two are the loose deposits. So once sludge is formed, those sludges can be removed by blow down operation. So here now how we need to select suitable phosphate. So that depends on the alkalinity, or that depends on the pH of the boiler feed water. Right. So three phosphates are available. Number one, Na3PO4. Number two, Na2HPO4, and number four, NaH2PO4. So first one is a alkaline in nature. Right. Next one is a weakly alkaline in nature. That means pH is around 8 or above 7.5. Right. And last one is acidic in nature. That means here to get better reaction with the calcium plus 2 based salt, pH of the water should be above 9.5. pH of the water should be above 9.5. That means if the given water is acidic, then we need to choose first one, that is a sodium phosphate, Na3PO4. If the given water is a neutral water, right, then we need to go for a second one, Na2HPO4. If the given water is a highly alkaline water, that means if water is itself alkaline, then go for acidic phosphate. That means based on the alkalinity, based on the pH, right, we need to select the suitable phosphate. Right. Next, third one is a colloidal conditioning method. Right. So in colloidal conditioning method, so scale form generally, reason for scale formation is mainly due to the crystalline precipitates which are available in the hard water. Right. That means if we avoid this crystalline precipitate in the boiler feed water, ultimately we are going to stop the formation of scale. So here, to stop the formation of scale formation, we are targeting what? Crystalline precipitates. Right. So by adding tannin and agar agar gel, so when certain chemicals like tannin or agar agar gel are added to water, these substances get coated on the outer surface of crystalline precipitates and forms colloidal, non-sticky and loose sludges. So again, once loose sludges are formed, they can be easily removed by blow down operation. That means, so scale forming crystalline precipitates are converted to sludges. Once sludges are formed, those can be removed by blow down operation. Right. So here they are converted into sludges by the addition of tannin and agar agar gel. So these three methods are there in a internal conditioning method. So next one is a external conditioning method. Right. So in this method again, two methods are there. One is a reverse osmosis method and another one is ion exchange resin method. So first one, let us discuss about reverse osmosis method. So before starting reverse osmosis method, first we should know what is osmosis. So here, whenever two unequal concentrated solutions, are separated by a semi permeable membrane, right, two unequal concentrated solutions are separated by a semi permeable membrane, right, in such a case movement of solvent takes place from low concentration to high concentration. That is called as osmosis. So what is osmosis here? Movement of solvent from low concentration to high concentration, low concentration to high concentration, and movement of what? Solvent, right? That is called as a osmosis. So if you have doubt about what is a solution, what is a solvent, what is solution, best example, go for sodium chloride solution, right? To make sodium chloride solution we require NaCl and water, right? So here NaCl is a solute, water is a solvent, right? So in a osmosis method, movement of solvent means here movement of water from low concentration to high concentration takes place. It is a spontaneous process. It is a spontaneous process. So coming to reverse osmosis, RO, coming to reverse osmosis, RO, if we apply hydrostatic pressure towards high concentration side, if we apply hydrostatic pressure towards high concentration side, and which should be greater than osmotic pressure, should be greater than osmotic pressure, then instead of osmosis, in osmosis movement of solvent taking place from low to high, right? But we are applying hydrostatic pressure which is greater than osmotic pressure. Now this will be reversed. That means movement of solvent takes place from high concentration to low concentration. That is called as a reverse osmosis method, right? So here hydrostatic pressure that we are going to apply around 15 to 40 kg meter square, and particularly semi-permeable membrane. Here semi-permeable membrane generally made with cellulose state and polyamide. Let us see the diagram. Let us see the diagram. Here you can observe this diagram, and left hand side salt water is there, and the right hand side pure water is there. Generally RO method is applied in case of purification of brackish water or sea water, right? So here salt water is there left hand side, and right hand side pure water is there, right? So if we compare these two, this side is concentration is more, right? And that side is concentration is less, right hand side concentration is less, right? And these two separated by a semi permeable membrane, right? So if we won't apply this hydrostatic pressure, right, so movement of solvent means movement of water from right hand side to left hand side, that means from pure water to salt water takes place. So that is called as osmosis. But here we are applying hydrostatic pressure which is greater than osmotic pressure, so that movement of solvent, so that means solvent means water, movement of solvent from high concentration to low concentration is taking place. That means we are reversing the osmosis. That's the reason it is called as a reverse osmosis, right? So in this way, so we are going to purify, or we are going to solve the brackish water or sea water, right? So advantages of reverse osmosis. So the process is very easy to make pure water. It removes the ionic, non-ionic substances which are available in the hard water. It also can remove suspended and colloidal particles. So it is removing colloidal and suspended particles, ionic and non-ionic, and sea water is converted into what, potable water, and water obtained after being treated by this process can be used for the boilers. So after adopting this method we can use this water for boiler feed water. Thank you.